Much for coming. And I want to remove that serious face of Magoha so that you know the other side of Magoha. Exactly 1 month after we met, he started telling people we are going to get married. And that was the first time we had a quarrel. I said, how can you do that? He said, no, I know you will not accept because I'm not a Nigerian. So you go and tell them why you can't marry me. So when we continued, got married, when I was pregnant with my son, I was in between life and death with my blood pressure. He told me if this is what pregnancy is all about, this is closed, this case is closed. And when I had my son, because of the blood pressure and everything, I didn't have any milk. You can't imagine, by 6:30, I had 2 liters of fruit juice, squeezed by him every morning before going to work. And the others used to say, what type of a man is this? Considering the fact that he was not a Nigerian, that's a story for another day. Those days, we Nigerians marrying from the same village was the norm because somehow we were never related. So to hear that I left the village, left the town, left the county, those we still call them states, we call them states. Left the other states, left the whole of Nigeria. It was like, you are crazy. Everybody said, you are crazy. What's wrong with you? In fact, there was this slang that what is there in Sokoto is there in Shokoto. Sokoto is the farthest point northwest of Nigeria. Shokoto. Written the same way, but pronounced S-O-K-O-T-O. Shokoto means trouser in Yoruba language. So they say, what you are looking for so far away is here. Where are you? So he will say, what did they say? Another day, I'll tell you why his closeness to my mom was so strong that when my mom passed on, it was like he had lost a part of him. He almost broke down in church. Then, another incident was when I had a near-fatal accident 24 years ago when I was coming back from a delivery. I had a head-on collision, and my car turned back to facing where I was coming from. And some people it was around 2 a.m., Holy Thursday. And the people came out from there. One of the men, they told me, I know you, I'm going to save you. Where do you want to go to? I said, take me to Nairobi Hospital. When I arrived there, the student, they all said, you were my teacher. I said, now I know I'm in safe hands. So I now opened my handbag, because all along I held my handbag to my side. I opened my handbag, I called him, I said, I have an accident, I'm okay, I'm here. And the first thing he said when he came and saw me was, I want you alive, with or without your leg. And I answered him, I told him, I'm alive, number one. Number two, the leg has no permission to go anywhere. I will come back, my legs will come back together, and I will go back to my high heels. Apparently, nobody had ever seen me without high heels. So it was something difficult for people to accept. Even my patients would just come to see, do you have your high heels on? So he was very jovial. Behind that screen was an extremely jovial man. And he used to tell me, I must go before you. Because if you go before me, I will not last. That was always his prayers. So throughout those years, those 20 years, when I'm sick, I'm praying to God not for me to get well for my sake, but for his sake. Because if anything were to happen, any exams or whatever, I know within 10 minutes, everything would be over. That's how close we were. The toughest time of our marriage was when COVID was there. And I told him, if this is the way you were meant to go, then you'll go. If it is not, you pull through. You have to do what you have to do. But we take the risk. You can imagine a family of doctors. He's not a doctor, but he's so exposed. Here was I with my patients. Here was my son, my daughter-in-law. We are all doctors. So it was just like, we are like, if it happens, it happens. But we must soldier on. I gave him that support, and we made it through. And he always said, family came first. He believed in family. From the first day, he said, if I'm up and my family is down, then I'm down. And that's what made me to get involved with him. Because people would say, why did you leave so many Nigerians? He was unique in that way. That caring attitude, I never saw anywhere. He was very loyal. If he told me he was going to be somewhere at 2 o'clock, 2 o'clock he'll be there. It didn't matter. If by 3 he was not there, he would call. If he has not called by 3, I know something was wrong. He made sure he helped whoever. He said, my father used to tell me, you never kick an enemy when he's on the ground. You fight and fight. When the person is on the ground, you stop. And that's why at times when there was so much argument and he knew the other person was down, he would give up just for that. The third one, he was so forgiving. People never knew that. He will talk, scream. The same person you are screaming with, if he says, I have a headache, he will, have you taken medicine? He will come, bring medicine. He will forget every other thing and take care of you till it's over. Then he will tell you, that thing we are discussing is over. That's the end of the story. Whatever it is you were arguing about, he will never bring it up. No matter how you try to bring it up, he will give it to you. But he will say, these are my reservations. If you can work on this, we can be fine. If not, we'll leave it the way it is. Very, very loving. Like his colleagues in NEC used to say, when he wants to get something for me, he tells them to wait. I'm getting something for the boss. And he would call, what do you need? 1, 2, 3. He was very supportive. I supported him, and he appreciated. That appreciation was so much. It made me to go a step further. If I had to stand on one foot the whole night for him to achieve what he wanted the following morning, I would do it. Because when it's over, he would come back and say, without you, I would never have made it. Saying I'll miss him is an understatement. But I know we used to work like 2 major generals. I used to call him Major General. He's commanding the 1st Battalion, and I'm in the 2nd Battalion. So when he has finished, usually during the war, sorry, I know a bit of war because I experienced Biafra firsthand. During the war, if they are going to capture a city like my city, it was Biafra in the morning, Nigeria in the afternoon, then 3 a.m. things changed. But whenever they went to capture a city, the 1st Battalion will go, and then the 2nd Battalion will now go when everything is sorted out.